The sound of my brother's laughter echoed through our parents' living room as my business cards scattered across the hardwood floor. Seriously, Elizabeth, strategic innovation consultant? Stop pretending to be something you're not. I watched James, my older brother by 2 years, grind his expensive leather shoe into one of my cards, smearing the embossed lettering I'd paid extra for. At 32, he was the epitome of what our family considered success. A newly hired executive at Meridian Technologies, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in Seattle. Those cards cost money, James, I said quietly, bending to pick up the scattered remains of my professional identity. Money you can't afford to waste, he smirked, adjusting his Rolex. A gift from our parents for landing his new job. Face it, little sister. Consulting is just a fancy word for unemployed. Our mother walked in carrying a tray of appetizers for James' celebration dinner. Elizabeth, dear, are you still doing that freelance thing? You know your father could make a call, get you something more stable. I straightened up, tucking the salvaged cards into my jacket pocket. The jacket was Armani, though they'd never know it wasn't from last season's clearance rack. In their eyes, I was still the family disappointment, the one who'd walked away from a real career to start her own business. I'm doing fine, Mom, I replied, thinking of the meeting I'd just come from, the one where I signed the final papers to acquire Meridian Technologies through my holding company Aurora Ventures. Fine isn't the same as successful, James interjected, dropping into our father's leather armchair. While you're consulting, I'll be transforming Meridian. They're lucky to have me, you know. The CEO practically begged me to join. I suppressed a smile, knowing the CEO had already been quietly informed of the upcoming management changes. James had no idea his dream job was about to change dramatically. When does your position start? I asked, already knowing the answer. Monday, he grinned, pulling out his own business cards. Thick, glossy things with Executive Vice President emblazoned in gold. Unlike some people, I have a real title at a real company. Our father strode in, beaming with pride. Son, I just got off the phone with George at the country club. Everyone's talking about your new position. Finally, a Harrison making headlines in the business world. I thought about the headlines that would run next week when Aurora Ventures revealed its ownership of Meridian. The mysterious holding company had been the talk of Seattle's business community, known for aggressive acquisitions and innovative management strategies. No one knew that behind the corporate shield was the youngest Harrison, quietly building an empire while her family mocked her career choices. Elizabeth was just showing us her business cards, James said, making air quotes around the word business. Dad glanced at the crumpled card on the floor. Consulting. So honey, it's been 3 years. Maybe it's time to admit this entrepreneurship phase isn't working out. 3 years. While they thought I was scraping by on freelance work, I'd turned my grandmother's inheritance, a modest $1 million they thought I'd waste, into a holding company worth over $300 million. Aurora Ventures now owns stakes in a dozen companies across the tech sector. Each acquisition made carefully and anonymously. Actually, I said, picking up my bag, I have some meetings tomorrow. Big changes coming up. Changes? Mom perked up. Are you finally considering real jobs? Something like that. I smiled, thinking of the email I'd received during dinner, the one confirming that Aurora Ventures now owned 67% of Meridian Technologies shares. Well, don't expect any introductions from me at Meridian, James called as I headed for the door. We have standards. I paused, turning back. Don't worry, James. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of each other very soon. In my car, a deliberately modest Audi that wouldn't raise questions, I checked my messages. My assistant had confirmed everything was in place for Monday's announcement. The board would meet at 9 a.m. to formally approve the acquisition, followed by a company-wide meeting where Meridian's new owner would be introduced. The same meeting where James would discover that his little sister wasn't just successful, she was his boss. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Honey, James left some of his business contacts here. Should I save them for you? Might be helpful. I started my car thinking about the stack of NDAs sitting on my desk at Aurora Ventures. The ones every Meridian executive, including their newest EVP, would need to sign on Monday. Oh, thanks, Mom, I typed back. I have all the contacts I need. Looking forward to our meeting at 10 o'clock. Don't be late. His reply came instantly. Sorry, sis. Executive meetings only. Maybe next time. I stepped out of the Bentley, straightening my jacket. The security guards snapped to attention. They'd been briefed about the real owner of their company. The receptionist jumped up. "Welcome, Miss Harrison. The board is ready whenever you are. Time to show my family what real success looks like." At precisely 9:55 a.m. I stood backstage in Meridian's main auditorium, listening to the excited chatter of 500 employees. Through the curtain I could see James in the front row holding court with our parents. His new assistant was already running back and forth with coffee and schedule updates. "Everyone's in position," Kate whispered, handing me the latest report. "The board members are seated, the press is ready and," she smiled, "your brother just sent a company-wide email announcing his vision for transformative leadership." I glanced at my phone where James' email glowed on the screen. "As your new executive vice president, I promise to revolutionize Meridian Technologies. Change starts today." He had no idea how right he was. Gerald Porter, Meridian's CEO, approached with an apologetic look. "Miss Harrison, your brother has already demanded the resignation of 3 more managers. He's threatening to restructure entire departments." "Don't worry, Gerald," I assured him. "The restructuring will happen, just not the way he imagines." At 10 a.m. sharp, Gerald took the stage. The auditorium fell silent except for James' loud whisper to our parents. "Watch this. Porter's probably going to announce my first major initiative." "Good morning, Meridian Technologies," Gerald began. "As you know, our company has undergone significant changes recently. Today I'm honored to introduce someone who will lead us into the future. The owner of Aurora Ventures and our new majority shareholder." I watched James lean forward, probably expecting some wealthy businessman to appear. "Please welcome our new owner and CEO, Elizabeth Harrison." The silence as I walked on stage was absolute. In the front row, James' coffee mug slipped from his fingers, shattering on the floor. Our mother's hand flew to her throat. Dad's face went from red to white in seconds. "Thank you, Gerald." I took my place at the podium. For those who don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Aurora Ventures. As of last week, we own 67% of Meridian Technologies. The audience erupted in whispers. Phones appeared everywhere, capturing the moment. In the front row, James seemed to have forgotten how to breathe. "Some of you may have received an email this morning about transformative leadership," I continued, enjoying the way James sank lower in his seat. "That transformation begins now, though perhaps not in the way some expected." I clicked to the first slide of my presentation, showing Aurora Ventures' portfolio of successful tech companies. Under our leadership, Meridian will modernize its infrastructure, expand its market presence and most importantly, I paused, locking eyes with James, eliminate outdated management structures that prioritize titles over talent. Our father stood up, voice shaking. "Now see here. Security," I said calmly. "Please escort any non-employees from the auditorium. We're discussing confidential company matters." As security approached, James jumped to his feet. "You can't do this. I'm executive vice president." Actually, I clicked to the next slide displaying the new organizational chart. That position has been eliminated in our restructuring. Though I hear the IT department needs a junior analyst. You did take that coding course in college, right? But my office, my business cards." James stammered, "Will need to be cleared out by noon," I finished. "Company policy on terminated positions. Though unlike you, I won't throw the cards away. They might make an interesting historical exhibit someday." Our mother was crying now, mascara running. "Elizabeth, how could you do this to your brother?" "The same way you all did it to me," I replied, my voice carrying through the silent auditorium. "By assuming success only looks one way. By dismissing anyone who doesn't fit your narrow definition of achievement." The next hour was a blur of announcements, strategic plans and corporate vision. I outlined Aurora Ventures' strategy for Meridian, introduced key initiatives, and answered questions from increasingly excited employees. All while my family sat frozen in the front row, watching their assumptions about success crumble in real time. After the presentation, I found them waiting outside my new office. The corner office James had been redecorating. "This is humiliating," James hissed. "I've already told people about my position." "Consider it a lesson in due diligence," I replied, admiring the view of Seattle. "Always know who owns the company before you start firing people." Our father stepped forward, switching to his negotiating voice. Princess, surely we can discuss this. Family should help family. Like you helped me? I turned to face them. By mocking my business, throwing away my cards, treating me like a failure because I chose a different path? We were trying to protect you, Mom pleaded. No. You were trying to control me. To force me into your version of success. I sat down behind my desk, my grandmother's pendant catching the morning light. But real success doesn't need anyone's permission. James made one last attempt. The country club. My reputation. You have to give me another chance. Actually, I don't. I opened my laptop. But since you're so interested in consulting now, here's my card. I slid one of my Aurora Ventures business cards across the desk. Though you might want to handle it carefully. They're quite expensive. Security arrived to escort them out. As they left, I heard James asking Dad if his old position at the family friends firm was still available. Over the next few weeks, Meridian transformed. Innovation flourished without the old hierarchy. Employee morale soared. The stock price jumped 30% on news of Aurora Ventures' leadership. My family's reactions varied. Mom sent daily emotional appeals about family loyalty. Dad alternated between threats and attempts at reconciliation. James posted vague LinkedIn updates about exploring new opportunities, while quietly interviewing for entry-level positions. 1 month later, I received an invitation to speak at my old business school's graduation ceremony. The topic: redefining success, breaking away from traditional paradigms. I accepted, planning to use my family's crumpled business cards as visual aids. The morning of the speech, a final text arrived from my grandmother, the only one who'd believed in me from the start. Saw Meridian's latest stock price. Well done, sweetheart. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong. It's proving yourself right in ways they can't ignore. Looking out over Seattle from my office, the office James had so briefly claimed, I thought about success in its many definitions. About business cards thrown away and empires built in silence. About brothers who thought job titles meant power, and sisters who knew true power comes from owning the company. On my desk, beside acquisition reports and strategic plans, sat a single framed photo. My grandmother on the day she gave me my inheritance. Both of us smiling like we shared a secret. Which of course we did. The secret wasn't just about money or success. It was about patience, vision, and the sweet satisfaction of watching those who underestimated you realize just how wrong they were.